Here's a few terms, some acronyms and phrases common in Final Fantasy XIV. If you're new to the game, you may be wondering what they mean, like I did when I first started playing. In this video, I'll briefly go through some of them so that you can understand what they mean when you see them talked about by other players.
Pug. Pickup group. A group of random people you play with in a dungeon, a trial, a raid, or some other multiplayer content that's arranged by the game when you join through the Duty Finder. PF. The Party Finder. Instead of waiting for random people to play with in the Duty Finder, you can go to the Party Finder where people will be advertising their parties where they're looking for people to play with. It's sorted into content categories and what role they're looking for. You can even create your own and recruit members into your party if you want to do something specific. AoE, Area of Effect. You'll see this when fighting enemies. A visible coloured area will appear indicating where the enemy is about to attack. Move out of the way or you'll be hurt. The enemy animation is safe to pass through though. It's the area of effect you want to avoid. DOT, Damage Over Time, a spell or skill you use which does sustained damage to your target. HOT, Heal Over Time, same as before but this time it heals over time. Mainly used by healer jobs such as the White Mage's regen spell, but it can also be used by other jobs who have some healing skills too. MT and OT, Main Tank and Off Tank. This applies to you if you're playing a tank job when doing raids or trials where there's two tank players. One tank might choose to be the main tank, which means that only that tank has their skill turned on to draw enmity. That tank can direct the movement of the enemy away from the other players while the off tank attacks trash mobs. Trash mobs. These are the enemies you'll encounter in dungeons that are weak. They're trash, in between the boss fights. Or they'll be spawned in boss fights. Pull. To create enmity by attacking or getting close to the enemy. Usually the tank wants to be the one doing this. Wall to wall. This is when your party runs through a dungeon, not stopping at each trash mob individually, but running through them, attracting the enmity of multiple trash mobs along the way until stopped by a barrier and then killing all the trash mobs they have attracted before proceeding. This can be difficult for novice healers, so if a tank wants to do this, it's best to ask the healer if it's okay. LB, Limit Break. You have a limit break bar in dungeons, trials and raids, which slowly fills up. It's shared by everyone though, so don't press it unless everyone in your group agrees because then you might waste it. Obviously different roles do different things with their limit breaks. LB3. In some content you have 3 limit break bars, which is the most powerful limit break. Limit breaks are shared by the whole group, so you don't want to use it unless your whole party agrees you should use it, or you might waste it. Basically, when new to the game, follow the advice of your fellow party members on when it's best to use your limit break bar. Each job has a 3-letter abbreviation, which you'll soon learn when you hear people saying it often. Tank Stance. This is one for tanks, and it's the skill you use when starting a dungeon or raid or trial with other people to generate enmity so that enemy characters will attack you, the tank, and not your fellow team members, who will get quickly annoyed with you if you don't turn it on immediately, as they'll find themselves getting attacked instead of you, the one who's supposed to be attacked, and take the damage. Tank Buster. This is a special attack that a boss character might do to a tank to do a lot of damage suddenly. You'll see it coming by this red arrow. If you're a tank, you'll want to be prepared to mitigate the attack by using skills to reduce the incoming damage and protect yourself. If you're a healer, you'll want to be prepared to immediately heal your tank, and if you're a DPS character, you just want to stay out of the way. Slide casting. For caster characters, some spells are cast instantly, but others require a short period of time to cast. You can't move while casting these spells, but there is a small period of time before the spell is cast when you can move without failing to cast the spell. It's similar to how at the start of a race in Mario Kart there's a small window of grace where you can accelerate your car without spinning out your tyres. Learning when it's safe to move when casting can make you more effective at being able to move around quickly while casting spells. That's slide casting. RMT. Real Money Trading. This is when a player trades real money for in-game currency or items. This is actually against the game's rules and is a bannable offense, so don't do it. You'll sometimes see bots with strange names hanging around the game's major cities advertising this. Just report them or ignore them.
Actually, the bots usually somehow hide under heavily trafficked aetherytes in major cities where they can spam the most amount of players. I have no idea how they get their characters down there in this out-of-bounds area, but they can stay hidden there and spam the chat nearby. I got this footage of them, curiously all male Lalafels wearing the same clothes, using the idle cam. It jumps to players who are nearby you, including ones where they shouldn't be, such as these ones. Actually, this is really creepy. Under every aetheryte there are potentially a bunch of murderous cloned little zombie Lalafels who want to take your money with their sharp axes and cut your knees and scam you. Be careful. Sometimes you'll see bots outside, but they're just being run by automated scripts, so they won't respond to you. Yeah, RMT, it's a thing that happens in games like this.
Grinding. This is achieving something in the game through a repetitive or tedious task. There's not a lot of it in this game compared to the grinding required in some other RPGs, but there is some, such as the grinding required to acquire some relic weapons. Relic weapons. Relic weapons are optional weapons you can acquire at the end of each expansion of the game. The steps to acquire some of them can be quite grindy or laborious, and their purpose is entirely cosmetic, or just for the personal achievement of obtaining them. A train. A group of players who follow each other around like a train with a common goal. For example, a hunt train will travel around multiple zones to kill elite hunt marks together. The train is usually led by someone called the conductor, who will coordinate where the train is going. Eye level. Your item level, which you can see on each piece of gear that you wear. The bigger, the better. Okay, that's quite a lot of acronyms and terms, so that'll do for now. I hope that was helpful to you if you're new to the game. If you want to see more tutorials or more on Final Fantasy XIV or more on video games in general, then please subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.